and welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. I am Jen.
Amanda.
Kathleen.
And we're the team behind Yarnia, and this is our podcast all about yarny stuff, knitting, crochet, weaving, sometimes spinning, although not lately, embroidery sometimes, needlepoint, who knows?
Yeah.
Does it involve yarn?
Cross
Yes.
stitch sometimes.
Cross stitch sometimes.
Oh, that reminds me. I have to finish that. I'm so close to finishing that.
I have a bunch of
Lost whips. What is the? It's not even a UFO. It's just like a lost whip.
God, every whip.
We have a new category.
Every whip in my house is a lost whip. I'm still in the midst of chaos. We also digress a lot.
We do.
Yeah, no, I'm still in the midst of chaos. I literally have yarn that I spun for Stacia, and I can see it behind the plastic that is blocking off the cabinets in my living room. I'm like,
so annoying.
Hi, yarn.
When is it supposed to be done?
Thanksgiving.
No.
Was Thanksgiving the original?
You're funny and sweet. No, the original estimate was like
for Christmas,
possibly December, but it really depended on like delivery of certain things. Yeah. And so now,
and of course, given the world, nothing was delivered.
Well, I mean,
at its earliest, or
our windows are coming in October 30th.
I remember you said that. Halloween windows.
Halloween windows.
Windows just in time for
Halloween.
Yay! Before the eggs sail into your living room.
Right, exactly. No, they're blocked off already. Thankfully. But yeah, they were saying like it used to be like pre-pandemic, it was 6 weeks for windows delivery.
Wow.
And it's now running 20 to 24.
I was gonna say like 6 months almost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know other
24 weeks. And that was the Fast company. The other one was couldn't guarantee 24 weeks, maybe 30. And I was like, great.
Because
and then,
you also know, like, once things get pushed back, it could easily be more than that. It's like you want to.
Normally, it's like you pour the foundations, and then the framers come and they frame it out, and as part of the framing, they put in the windows. Yeah, that's the normal thing. So
pretty early step normally.
Right now, it's like they frame. They did the drywall, which is why everything is taped off, and then they're going to do the flooring. And then the framers have to come back and do the windows. And it took a little bit longer for our framing to happen because the framers got pulled off to go put in windows in other jobs.
Oh my goodness. When those windows showed up.
Yeah, when those windows showed up, they were like, oh, we got to take it. And it only takes a day, but like, you know. And it wasn't a problem with our schedule. I was like, that's built in. But like, it's just one of those things. And then our cabinets in the kitchen are delayed a little bit, so they were going to be ready in November, but the problem is that it was like hinges are back ordered.
What?
Because it's custom cabinetry, because our space is weird, but things like hinges and like hardware, not like handle hardware, but like
literally the part you need to
drawer
attach
slides, hardware. So they're going to be early December. So now it's looking like it'll be finished in January-ish, but we're doing 2 rooms, right? So we're doing like the kitchen. We pushed the kitchen out, and then we pushed out the room next to the kitchen, which is like a sitting room, like a living room.
Family room.
Like a family room kind of thing.
That's the one that you saw in pandemic times?
With the fireplace and all the plants.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be bigger.
Now you guys all know what our house is like.
You know exactly what my house looks like. You've seen every aspect, pretty much, of my house. Well, except for like the crap behind the camera.
Oh, is your house gonna? Are you gonna have a pretty scene for Vlogmas?
I will have construction for Vlogmas.
You get construction updates for Vlogmas.
It'll be very satisfying construction updates for Vlogmas because that's when the cabinetry will be going in.
Yeah, that is.
And then you can see me. We still haven't chosen a color of backsplash because we need to see like a cabinet door color and like I need to convince Jonathan a couple of things. But like at least like the sitting room and the basement will probably be done before the kitchen part, which is good.
So I was thinking it was the family room attached to the kitchen. It's the other one with the fireplace.
It's the other one with the fireplace. And
so
the
is
family
your driveway moving too?
Yes. Our driveway is moving over.
I drove by your house the other day, and it looks like the Southwest with just dirt.
It's just dirt with like PVC pipes sticking up out of the dirt because that's all of the drainage system, which they required a lot of drainage, which dug up. I was like, oh, this is fine. We're not going into the side yard, except for the side yard was a giant mud pit of 20 feet square, just for drainage.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that you put so much money in, and you're like, no one's ever going to see
anything.
it. No buyer will ever value it, ever.
No.
And it's so annoying.
It's so annoying, but I'll tell you, our basement better be dry.
Yeah, right?
And the patio will not flood.
That's good.
I mean, it's good.
It's good. But it's all the unpretty stuff. Like, it took, 3 weeks of, AC guys and, electricians doing the rough out. And it's like, you will never see this, but, but I will have outlets everywhere.
Oh, that'll be super nice.
So nice,
Oh,
right?
that's what we have happening at our house tomorrow, too.
Oh, outlets.
Outlets. More outlets.
I need a plumber, because my sink doesn't drain. It's had water in it for 4 days.
McCormick.
Butter?
No, I have to call someone.
McCormick.
Yeah, they're the best. We use them, too.
Yeah, we use them for, the day-to-day, not for art.
That's what I need. I need someone to fix my sink. I also need...
But anyway...
I was telling you, so I have a home tale of woe that is on a much smaller scale, but I need urgently fixed. So my kids go to a Catholic school. Their uniforms are, in the summertime, which is what we still are in summer uniform, white polo shirts. Their gym uniforms are red t-shirts.
Oh no.
Bad choice.
And black.
Bad combo.
Guess what I have this morning?
Pink polo shirts.
Exactly. Okay. I've done this before, but Charlie's polo shirt's really quite pink. I don't know,
That's what they get for assigning red gym shirts.
I mean,
terrible.
Think it through, gym people. White t-shirts.
Please, just white t-shirts with the red silk screen. That would be excellent.
Yeah.
So easy. So much easier.
Why?
Yeah, all you need is somebody leaving that washer on hot and, or even warm, right, with new shirts.
And I know I've got to start separating my laundry. I know I don't. I mean, because I've got so much to do that it just is overwhelming to separate laundry. And usually it's fine, but these red shirts, and also my kids have been at this school since 2004.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so I have every size of uniform, and usually I'm laundering stuff that's been worn for 10 years.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to release your dye.
Right. But the kids actually wore through some shirts, and I had to buy some new ones last year, and so this has now happened a couple times, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I actually have to separate my darks from my lights and whites. And
hear me out. You only have to separate the red shirts.
Well, but I have to wash them with things that I don't care if they.
The other thing I would say is anything that's new and navy or black. That because if you do that with light stuff too, it just makes everything gray,
gray.
And they have now I have boys, which since 2004 I've had girls, and so now they have all new black pants.
Yeah,
which they had gray pants before, and they changed the uniform this year, and I always got my kids' uniforms at the used uniform sale.
Smart.
Because they're going to be used in 2 weeks anyway, so why would I buy them new?
They don't need new uniforms.
But now they have to have new. So now my little boys all have new black pants that are going to make their shirts gray if they're not pink already. So now they're going to be dusty rose, which is one of my favorite colors, but not my
rose gold uniform.
Maybe not what the little boys are looking for.
I have 2 potential solutions.
Yes.
Number 1, you need to get one of those Shout color catchers.
Yes, those are good. Yes.
Cut them in half.
Yes.
Oh yeah?
Always.
Yeah. Always.
Half is fine.
Cut them in half. They're like little sheets that collect the excess dye in the wash.
One thing I found, even if they get wet, we had a leak on the shelf that box was on. They got wet. They still work once they dry.
I've used them for more than one wash.
Yeah.
They don't work as good for the second wash.
No, but they work 100%.
Decently. Throw those suckers in. And honestly, if you're ever
fine. Yeah.
If you're ever blocking color
do you have to find it before you dry it?
No.
I just
throw it in there.
I just throw them all in. I'm like, I never find it. Are you kidding me? They're also really great if you're blocking color work. I made the Christmas sweater last year.
Good tip. Yeah. And that was super red.
I tested. I mean, first off, that was the Berroco. I tested that red.
Yes.
I ran it under hot water. I wrapped it. I twisted it with white, and then ran just a little piece of it under like hot water and then hot soapy water to see if any transferred to the white.
Stick it
didn't.
on white paper towels
would you
something.
like to do school uniforms? Please?
Please. Because that was a bright red, and I had a white, and I had a dark green.
That's nuts.
But just in case, when I blocked the sucker,
Berroco uniform.
I threw a piece of the color catcher in. Just in case.
So if there is any loose dye, it goes to that.
And then you can get RIT dye remover.
Really? Wait, where?
Yes.
At like...
I would go to like the ShopRite.
Yeah.
And the laundry aisle.
Big ShopRite.
Or the big Bed Bath & Beyond. I had to stop and think and not say Bloodbath & Beyond because I have watched The Simpsons for years, and there was one like Treehouse of Horror where they're like Bloodbath & Beyond, and now my entire family calls it Bloodbath. So go to the Bloodbath. And like, you know how the big one has like those big, has like all the, they have all of the laundry stuff.
Like they go to these places. I don't go to any place.
Oh, not like I've been there in like 3 years. But the one out in Wayne. The one in Wayne.
But the big ShopRite also has like a whole, or they did anyway, a whole display of Carbona things that remove all the different kinds of stains.
Those are fantastic.
I love it. They have a little organizer.
Where is the big ShopRite?
The one in Broad and Bellevue.
Really? Just like right up here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you're looking for like any kind of stain removal, the Carbone, the little yellow
bottles. I have like 5 of them for the things that I usually stain with.
So do I. And I have like 4 of the oil ones.
You know what, guys?
Inevitably
I'm
spoiling
going to put
oil.
before and afters. Here's the before. This is what those shirts look like right now, and trust me, one of them is bad. And then I'll put down here what I pick up and what I use, and this is the after.
I would straight up start with like the RIT dye remover.
Okay.
Right? And then I would be like, how much OxyClean can I dump in this?
Yes. OxyClean can be good.
But that's going to be my project this afternoon. Well, in addition to getting some shoes for Teddy, we got to go to the mall because he's a December baby. He's almost 2. He'll be 2 on the first day of Vlogmas.
That's right.
Sagittarius boy.
Oh my goodness.
One more for the Sagittarius Club. We got him.
Y'all are problem. I mean, I'm a Leo though. I mean,
come on, fire signs.
But the rest of my littles are...
They're all summer babies, right?
May 31st, June 5th, and June 16th.
Yeah.
So all the shoes for his size are sandals.
Yeah.
We have no closed-toed shoes for his size, so we've got to...
Time to go shop.
We have to go shoe shopping for him.
I have 2 fall boys, so they've always been on the right cycle.
Yeah. Well, that was planned, but anyway, sometimes
life doesn't go the way they want.
Yeah.
But
so should we talk about some projects?
We should probably talk about projects. Well, we should also...
It's not just about laundry.
We should say what episode this is.
We should, yes.
I do. She's covering
my little hiding thing. No, she doesn't look. But.
Oh my goodness. Kathleen has like a little thing
tab
torn down, so like
oh my god, it's so cute! Oh my god, that's so funny. She literally tore.
I did it after I sat because I was gonna put a Post-it over it and I forgot before I sat down.
Funny.
I gotta show you.
She'll throw it in. I know we're in the 80s.
We are in the 80s.
Because I was very surprised that we were in the 80s. Like, even though we're like, I think maybe we're well in the 80s. Are we 87?
Oh,
yes!
87.
You're getting really good at this. Practice makes progress.
I thought I was going to be way too high with 87.
No, we had 85 a few ago.
I have the memory of a goldfish. That's memory of a goldfish.
I remember like 0s and 5s. That's how I kind of know where we are.
That's a really good shawl, by the way. I love the goldfish memory.
Goldfish memory. It's 100% me. You know what's funny is that Jonathan and I got married in 2005, and so did my brother and my sister-in-law. My brother and my sister-in-law had been together forever, so we were kind of like not surprised that they were getting married, but we're like, oh my god, you're actually like codifying this? Like, cool. And my brother at one point, they were like, I guess, not nervous, but they were like, is it okay that we're getting married? I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, like, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I love my sister-in-law.
Did you guys get married before them or after them?
We got engaged before them, but married after them. Because we had, and they wanted like a smaller chill party, and Jonathan and I were like, big party!
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, this is perfect, because then, you know, and it was, because they didn't get any any flack for not inviting, like, you know, aunts and
relatives.
uncles.
Because your wedding was coming
we were
up.
inviting aunts and uncles. I was like,
That's
this
fun.
is perfect.
Yeah.
And it's also like, we like a big party and they wanted a smaller chill vibe.
I got flack. We had a small wedding, and I have relatives who are still angry at me.
Oh,
5 years later.
my relatives were fine. My dad was the one who was like, "Are you sure you don't want a small backyard wedding?" And I was like, "Do you know me? I like a big party.
Yeah.
I am an extrovert. You wanted a small backyard wedding. I did not."
Well, ours was like 80 people, which is like small, but not super small.
That's not super small.
Yeah, to me it's small. I mean,
Ours was like 150.
most of my friends' weddings were like 200, 250.
Yeah, we were not 200, 250.
Our venue wouldn't hold more than 150.
But we got married at in 2005, and my brother was like, I kind of have to get married in 2005 if I'm ever going to remember the anniversary. And I was like, you're right. That's the 5s and the 0s.
That's one reason I have a hard time remembering what year I got married in too.
I was like, do I
Because it's
have to
an
do
odd
math?
number.
Or
Yeah.
am I just like, I mean, and it straight up works great for me because I'm like, 2005. I mean, it's much harder for me to sit there and be like, you know, Ollie was born in 2013, and I'm like, 2022 minus 2013.
I know. You know what's so funny? I know. Well,
Terrible.
I was born in a 0 year. My sister Irene was born in a 0 year. Haley was born in a 0 year.
I was born in a 0 year.
Wow.
I was born 75, so I was a 5 year.
5s and zeros. Interesting.
Perfect.
But it is. It's so much easier.
So much easier to
so
do
much
that math.
Yeah.
So much easier.
And Teddy was born in a 0 year.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Yes.
Oh. So anyway, it's episode 87.
It is
Now
episode
I can look and
87.
see.
Yes. Now I have flipped up the flap.
All right. So what finished objects?
Well, you're wearing
I'm
one.
wearing one. I
Yes.
finally finished an object.
It's really nice.
Look
It's
at
nice.
you.
I feel like we should have a round of applause.
I know we should.
These summer projects.
It only took me like 6 freaking months. No, it didn't take me 6
No.
months. It just, I don't know. There's a lot going on. But I finally finished it, and if you watched to the end of the last podcast, you saw me
There's a very
finishing
cute
it.
time lapse. That was very fun.
Thank you, Amanda, for the time lapse.
With the fun music.
Yeah.
So this is my Anker tee.
So
And I
cute.
made it a little bit A-line because I wanted it, but like this I realized like
No, I
this
like
is a
it.
good length. It's cropped enough for
It's not long by any
it's
means.
not long,
Yeah,
but like it's long
not
enough that
super
it
cropped.
goes just enough past the waistline that it hides that little roll that goes doop. And so this was our summer sweater class, and I was hemming and hawing over the length, which is one of the reasons it took so long. So this is done in Juniper Moon Farms Damask.
That was our New Year in this year, right? Was that
Yeah,
we did
Yeah.
That was a New Year for
I love
everybody.
this yarn.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's really, really great. It's like hand painted or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's got like a little bit of variation, and it is 100% linen.
Nice.
But it's got a chainette structure, so it's not
easier
as
to
hard
knit.
on your
Yeah.
hands.
Not as
Definitely.
crunchy, yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't
It doesn't
blocked
feel
it
like
yet.
knitting string. It's nice to knit.
Yeah, it's got like a little bit of give, which most linen is like knitting with twine. But it's
Easy.
really nice. It's really drapey. And I added short rows to this sweater as I taught. I like short rows in the back of every sweater.
Yes.
So I've got
Definitely
like
helps.
I need it to come up. But yeah. So finally a finished object, thank
Yay.
God. Just in time for the fall sweater class.
Yay. Yeah, just in time. Good job
Literally
finishing
just in time.
your summer sweater before fall sweater class
Right.
starts.
I know.
Yay.
It's
So
pretty
actually,
solid.
it is less than 6 months because that was probably June, right? When did you start that? Or May, maybe?
Maybe May.
Maybe May.
No.
No, I think it was June.
Yeah, so see, that's not
'Cause
that
it
bad.
That was
wasn't-
your summer sweater. You just knitted it during the summer.
I just knitted it during
Yeah.
the summer. And the thing is that, like, I will get wear out of this fall. Not
Yeah.
a problem.
She runs hot.
I run hot. And anytime, like, this is a good, like, layering piece, too, where it's like, oh, I need to, like, it's short on top, and then I can wear jeans, so that's my long on bottom, and, like, I'm wearing sandals still. So, like, it'll still work even as I transition into boots, which is my cold weather footwear.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes.
it's sandals.
Conversely,
I know, as opposed to Amanda, who is wearing...
I'm also wearing a finished object.
It's very soft.
I'm in
So pretty. I definitely want to make
Magnolia
that.
Bloom by Camilla Vad. This was on my Make 9 for this year. I loved this.
Look at you. checking things off.
I know. Well, I mean, to be fair, this was like a super fast knit. I finished this in less than 2 weeks. It's knit on 10 and a halves.
Love that.
Yeah.
The original pattern here, I'll stand up.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It's so nice. I really do want to make one now.
Yeah. Oh,
I need to get my queue in
so
order.
this is in the Woolfolk Loft.
Beautiful.
And I love how like the lace panels like come to a
Wrap around
point.
your shoulders.
Well, they come right on the shoulder,
the
the
center
side
of your
seam,
sleeve, yeah.
and it's nice and centered here. She did such a good job.
Yeah, it's
this
a
out.
beautiful,
Yeah.
thought out
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah. So this was originally written for I think a DK or a worsted plus silk mohair held together. When I was looking at luft, I knew I wanted a luft sweater, and so I looked for what gauge luft was knit at, how many stitches per inch, and then I searched on Ravelry for sweaters that had that gauge.
Smart.
And the Magnolia Bloom was one, and it was in my favorites, and I was like, well, perfect.
That seems like a good combo.
Yes.
So, use that advanced search in Ravelry, man.
Definitely. So yeah, so I knit the Magnolia Bloom, so you don't have to hold anything double if you're not like a fan of holding things double.
Or if you're like me and you can't do the mohair.
Can't do
Right,
mohair.
yes, if you don't want to do them, yeah, this is like, and it's nice and fluffy, has an amazing halo, and
Yeah,
it's
that
really
is the
beautiful.
way. I know, I've definitely been having FOMO over the lack of halos because of my mohair issue.
yeah.
No, it's a good way to deal with it.
So you need to do a left.
I do.
Yeah, you could do a lot. I bet this will also work for the Saturday night sweater.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
petite knits.
Yeah, I'm pointing at it because we have
It's
my
hanging right
version
there,
in
yeah.
in gray, sitting over there, which I think I can take home soon and wear. I like wearing that for work too.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was great. I love this knit, and it went so fast. It has like a folded collar, which was easy to do. It's not done with a provisional cast on. It's you just like cast on and then fold it over and pick up the stitches.
But you could. You
could do it. I thought about that after I got in. I was like, I could have done
I
this
should have
provisional.
done. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Sometimes you're like, but I'm already 3 rows in.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh, exactly. You're not going to go back.
Not going back now.
No need to go back.
So anyway, I'm trying to think of any more comments because I basically just knit this to pattern. I did the second size. Yeah. Oh, I did add 2 more inches to the sleeves because I have long arms. And I put it on. Actually, had I finished it or was I already done with the ribbing and about to bind off and I put it on and the sleeves were like here?
Oh, wow.
That would have been perfect for me.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? It was during knit night and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to add more to the sleeves.
Yeah.
So I added 2 more inches. And length of the sleeves, I'm super glad I did because they're the perfect length.
I like longer sleeves too. I don't know if my arms are long or not, but I like a long sleeve because you can always push it up. But if it's not long enough, you can't really pull it down well enough.
I don't like a long sleeve. I want it to hit right at my wristbone.
Yeah, well then Camilla Vad.
My wristbone.
This is perfect.
Or above, somewhere in this range. Because I'm always pushing it up, and then the ribbing gets stretched out.
I can even use another probably 3/4 of an inch, but this is fine.
And is it a balloon sleeve or?
It is. Yeah,
I like a balloon sleeve.
Yeah.
You don't even have to think about it. You
just go.
And it's not a huge balloon sleeve. It's it's comfortable. It's not. Yeah. It's not like a bishop sleeve.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but I think that's nice.
Very nice.
I love it. This is going to be like my sweatshirt this fall. I know it. It's
love
like
it.
super
I know.
comfy.
I may have to go look at our left colors and see
great.
just what I need. Another thing to guess.
So I mean, to be fair, also like directly behind the camera, like where you are, is our Woolfolk wall. So we're sitting there staring at it, and I'm going,
They're
like,
also
that's
pretty.
a really pretty color too, and that's a really pretty,
Yeah.
like that pale blue. Like there's like a grayish baby blue.
Yeah, I was going to do this in the grayish baby blue, but then we saw the new, because we
The
see
new
colors
colors
before you
came
guys
in.
do.
Yeah.
And I saw the new Woolfolk colors, and I was like, nope, this
That
one.
color is so perfect.
And
for
you're
you.
like,
I love that.
hello, Amanda.
Yeah. It's the Amanda color. It's the Amanda
I'm
color.
very
Have
grateful
palettes.
Yeah.
that they're, channeling my vibe this year.
Your rose gold.
Yes.
So I haven't finished Object 2.
Look at that.
Finished
Which-
How
object.
long has it been? I can't imagine.
Since we all three had it and we're wearing, right?
I'm the slacker.
I'm gonna go ahead and take this off
You
because
used to finish something every week.
I know.
If you go
I
back
was
to the
like
beginning,
really into it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm still
Can you hold
really
that
into
in?
it. I'm just easily distracted by chaos.
So this is my version of La Bise by Espace Tricot. I had wanted to. This is also another one of those like summer projects that I finished in the fall.
Yeah.
But it's a good transitional thing too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably not going to wear it again unless we have a really warm day.
Oh,
I wanted something to go with this dress. I've got this, V-neck long linen dress, and just when I wear it, I forget what Haley said. Either I look like a prisoner or just like a nun or whatever.
You need
a little
something.
I mean, I was wearing a necklace with it, but I wanted a little knit thing too. So
so soft.
And actually, this is the second shawl I made in this yarn. I got some of our Jadifra Lana Mia Cotone Effetto, and it's such a pretty and soft
really
cotton yarn.
jaggy.
It's got a little poly in it, and it almost has a stretch. It's not. I don't know how to explain it. It's not truly stretchy, but look, it sort of is.
It's got a little
Can you
bit of
see
give.
it?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't think the poly would do that, but apparently it does.
Well, that's like the Regia cotton yarn has that same kind of.
That's true. The Regia definitely. It almost
Regia
like
has a little bit
bounce.
more stretch, but yeah.
But
But that counteracts the fact that sometimes, especially like a fine gauge cotton, can feel like you're knitting with string.
Totally. That's
Or
one
like
reason I have
embroidery
not
gloss.
done a whole lot of it.
This would be such a nice t-shirt too.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
this would make a
be
great t-shirt, yeah.
beautiful tee.
So we've got
I
this
love that
in, I
green.
think, 8 colors maybe. So we've got
I
a
know
few of
there's
them
a pink.
here. There is a pink.
There's a pink.
They're all
In
on the
fact,
website.
Blue is pretty too.
Yeah. But I loved this one, of course, the neutral. It's
Yeah.
got little
Yes.
pops
With a
of
little
gray
brown.
and gold, kind of. So
And it's so it's a great it's
This would
really
go with
wearable
anything.
weight.
This would go with anything.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I put my notes on Ravelry, and I said I would check last time, and I didn't. But let me make a note right now. La Bise, check notes. Because this was actually, we've talked about this before, I don't love to wear asymmetrical shawls. I really like symmetrical shawls, and La Bise is actually asymmetrical, even though it doesn't look like it is when you look at the pictures. One of the wings is longer than the other, so I just changed it so that I did the same increases on both sides.
Perfect.
Okay.
One thing, and actually somebody, we were talking about, I don't know, it was somebody who was watching old episodes. Remember my 3-penny opera shawl, that shawl that I did for the apple tree gradients? I did have a few people test the pattern, like 4. No one ever gave me comments. And I didn't want to release it with no comments. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I don't know, I may just actually have a tech edited. But anyway, our podcast watcher requested a copy of that to use for something, and I said, I will be happy to give it to you if you promise to give me comments.
Even if the comment is, it's fine.
Exactly.
Just tell
well, even I'm sure there's got to be some type of I think the other people told me it was fine, and I didn't believe them because I found things when I looked at it later. It's like, wait, that's you know what? Honestly, it didn't have a gauge in it. That was one thing that that's kind of an oversight, right?
Okay, for those of us play on a shawl, I would probably not notice there wasn't a gauge. But I noticed I'm not a good gauge checker on shawls.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's been a whole lot of discussion in the Stephen West MKAL unofficial group on Ravelry about gauge. Yeah.
Well,
interesting.
But it's about gauge and swatching, and I would say 75% of people are like, I never swatch, and then there are people like me saying, that's fine, but then if you run out of yarn, be prepared. Right. That is the main reason. Also, he's cautioning people. It's like, make sure you've got at least 400. You've got 400 yard skeins for these colors because 800 yards of each, and that's assuming you knit at his gauge.
And that is the thing. Like, it's one thing to not swatch if you are comfortable ripping out.
Mm-hmm.
If you are wary of how much yarn you need, right? If you're like, maybe I'm going to play yarn chicken, or if you're like, I have a whole extra skein.
Yeah, if you have a whole extra skein,
that's one thing. You're fine.
Or I would say if you have knit a shawl with that type of fiber, right, and 80-20 merino, nylon sock yarn, or if you're doing single plies, right, if you're using Tosh Merino Light and you've done Tosh Merino Light on another shawl with the same needle size and you know what your gauge is, then you effectively have a swatch.
Exactly, you've got a really big swatch.
That's true.
Right, and we're going to talk about that in a minute here, because I did that on another project where I didn't swatch for a sweater, but I've made a hat in that same yarn with the needles that I want to use to get a fabric
that is effectively a very big swatch.
Yeah. That hat is a swatch. I mean, that's. Elizabeth Zimmerman always used to say, she's a proponent of swatching, but she's also like, take your swatch it around, make a hat, or start with a sleeve, right?
Yeah,
and your sleeve is your swatch. And if that doesn't work, then you just take out a little bit of the sleeve.
Exactly.
And that's for making like a bottom-up sweater, right?
Instead of working on the body, or even the yoke, if you're doing all your increases and everything, a sleeve is much easier to say, okay, not working, let me start over. It's not a big time investment.
Ideally, before you finish both sleeves, like I did with my dad's sweater last year.
True that.
So the thing that I wanted to say that the Three Penny Opera Shawl reminded me of when I was looking at this before I sent it to the podcast watcher the other day. I had a note in there, and this is a really helpful tip for very wide shawls. If you do a yarn over between your two garter edge stitches and then drop it on the next row, you don't get any tightness. So we've had rain for the last couple of days here. And so I did not want to attempt to block a cotton shawl when I knew it was going to be 98% humidity.
It would never dry.
It would not dry. I wouldn't be able to have it around me. But so I steamed it this morning. It's stretching pretty well. It may stretch a little bit more once I wet it.
Yeah.
Maybe not a whole lot, but a little bit more. But yeah, I wish I had looked at my notes from my past self and done that extra yarn over in between, because wool stretches more than cotton. So a wool shawl, I'd be able to really have this extend.
The cotton, I think once you get it wet, you'll be able to like manipulate the cotton a little bit. It'll get enough that I feel like the edge will be a more comfortable it won't feel like
ratio
it's pulling
it feels like it's pulling in a teeny bit right now, like maybe 10%.
I mean, I don't think it looks like it's pulling in.
Yeah.
But that is a really good tip, because like when you're doing that kind of like top down or center out shawl, right? Like your edges are that top edge, like your selvages, and
like
that's
your
what
edge
is going to your top edge.
Constrain the width of your item. It basically is. And the funny thing is, whenever I'm doing that, I try to make them loose. It's like I'm saying loose on those edges, but
and that's what makes the shawl tails curl at the end, right?
Yes,
when
it's tight.
But I remember seeing some.
Yes.
You can
these aren't curling a ton, but I know we've had
because I steamed this a lot. This morning. Yeah, and it'll stretch a bit when I wet it.
It'll stretch a little bit when you wet it, but I mean, especially if you're a tightish knitter, that is.
Oh yeah,
you should just do that automatically.
For sure.
Then you can do it like even if it doesn't have a garter edge. You work your first edge stitch, do a yarn over, and then do whatever you're supposed to do, and then on the next round you drop it.
Just drop that, and it feeds that extra yarn right in there where you need it.
Yeah. Yep.
So one thing I did differently about this was I have become such a huge fan of twisted rib. I mean, I do like twisted rib for the edge for socks, but I really wanted to see the little bit of border. And I know, like regular ribbing, it just kind of flares out. It kind of looks flabby a little bit to me.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like your V's on regular rib kind of stretch out to the point where you're like, is that a column or is that just like a...
Yeah. But the twisted rib makes such like a nice defined column, so I did that. And then I don't have a lot of finished things because I fussed with this silly thing a lot, but I'm happy with it.
But you know what? Like, there's nothing wrong with fussing.
I know. Yeah, but I definitely have to make sure all my notes are in there.
Yeah. I mean, I did twisted rib on this too because for the same reason. The 1x1 was flaring out, and I wanted a bit more of a definition,
a nice crispness to
with the linen, especially.
Yeah.
It's the plant fibers that get you.
So what I wound up doing also on the bind off for this, I tried a 3-stitch I-cord bind off. I tried a 2-stitch I-cord bind off, which basically is almost just like a little square edge.
Yeah.
Didn't like either of those. I tried, binding off on the right side. I eventually just went with binding off on the wrong side. And before I steamed it, it almost looked tubular. It was very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I wonder if once I block it, if I don't kind of really steam it again, if it'll kind of go back to that look. But I'm happy with it.
I think it looks great.
It kind of flows. It just, I didn't want to...
Yeah, it just kind of like...
Well, I thought I might want the I-cord, and then I don't know, with the cotton, it was like...
a different look.
It was too big at 3, it was too small at 2.
Yeah. Well, and it's
Goldilocks.
I like an I-cord bind off, especially on like a ribbed shawl collar, because it has like a nice kind of like
the campsite cardi. Exactly. Yeah, Amy was working on that in class the other day, and I was admiring that I-cord edge. Yeah. But anyway, so that is my little project that I've been kind of agonizing over. So you will see this again in the spring, probably. not wearing my
I was
linen dress with.
Not wearing your linen dress with. I mean,
before the camera started today, I said I feel like I'm in 3rd grade. This was just definitely one of those things that I'm sure my mom did with me. It's like I want to wear this dress, but it's 50 degrees out. You know,
yeah, I do
put
that.
the turtleneck on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always layer something. I mean, obviously you guys know, like, I tend to wear my linen dresses year round, and I just layer sweaters over them.
Yeah, that's true. I could see doing that.
Yeah, and you can do that with a turtleneck too. And if it's not, if it's not cropped enough, or if like the proportions are weird, you can always do like that kind of like you put a belt on underneath, and then you tuck the.
I just saw somebody do that on Instagram the other day. I was like, what?
It's a handy little tip.
So these are the things I learn off of the TikTok.
Seriously, yes.
Yeah, where you're like, oh.
So you take your sweater, belt it high, and then like
roll it,
blouse it out, and it covers your belt, and now your sweater is shorter. Yeah,
cool. Magic.
Do we have more finished objects to
talk
about?
I do not have more finished objects.
No, we have a lot of in progress.
I have a lot of in progress because
right.
you didn't see me for almost a month.
I know.
That's right. Yep.
What's the in progress things? Yeah.
Actually, I gotta put my foot down. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
it's the chair. Yeah.
Do you want to get a different chair?
No, I just need to shift it. It's fine. I'm gonna put my foot up.
All right. So I have been basically up in the air. So I've had trips Monday through Wednesday. This is my 3rd week in a row, so we're actually recording on Sunday. We usually record on Tuesday.
A whole week before you're going to see it.
Right. But that's because I'm traveling again Monday through Wednesday. I traveled last week, Monday through Wednesday, and the week before. Well,
Monday
the
through
week
Friday,
before,
right? Or
Sunday through Saturday night through Thursday. Yeah. So, yeah, it was crazy. I've been to Miami, Las Vegas, Boise. This week I'm going to Kansas City, and I'm going to Orlando for 2 conferences at the end of October, like back-to-back conferences. Goodness. Well, sort of back-to-back. There's 4 days in between, and the kids are coming down to go to Disney in between, like my conferences, because I'm already here.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Good timing.
At least one plane flight is paid for. Let's make it a family trip. So
perfect.
Nice.
Anyway, so I've been doing a lot of knitting on the plane. I'll tell you about those projects. First, I'll tell you what I'm crocheting on right now.
Yes.
Kathleen showed you last time her Belva, right? Did you do Belva?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The cowl with the Berroco dash.
Should I grab it?
Yeah, sure.
As well, just in case.
Yeah.
People didn't see the last one.
So
it's right here.
The dash is a new Berroco yarn, which is like a bulky weight. I saw it at the trade show this summer, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the perfect first project yarn, because you make something that looks cool.
Look how nicely this works.
Yes! I
like that even better.
Good.
I'm going to wear this for the rest of the episode.
Oh my goodness, that matches so well. Right? Like,
it's my colors.
They did such a good job with the colors. It
so
looks
soft
like on trim. Very soft. Like, it's mostly merino wool, and there's a little nylon for strength, right?
Yeah.
It's chainette, so it doesn't split.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's really nice.
Spoof to it.
Yeah.
13 to 15 needles.
Right.
So like a great
super
gift
fast
knit. Hat would be adorable in this.
Oh, yes. They have also, so Berroco put out a little project book to show you like different kinds of projects you can do in it. They have some little knits and hat patterns that are really cute too.
There's a sweater, which I know you
saw the sweater on Instagram.
Seisha sent me that
it's
post.
So cute.
It's really cute. It's just like basically a plain sweater.
Yeah, but this gives it all the interest.
It makes it super cute. I sort of want to make one for Abby, but that might be January or February because I'm full up on projects. But they had a crochet cowl in there too, so that's what I'm working on.
I love the idea of showing it in both knit and crochet.
Because this is a great yarn to crochet with too. Oh my gosh, how cute!
I was just looking up the pattern name. So this is Zurie. Zurie is the crochet pattern, and I just love the way that it makes dots.
I do. It's like a polka dot.
It's dashes and knit, and in crochet it makes dots.
I love it.
This is also after you finish crochet 101, you could do this pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's double crochets and chains, the same row, the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I kind of want this in a blanket.
Oh yeah.
Right. I want this.
You could do this pattern
just bigger.
Sometimes when you extend the width, Right?
You're not going to get
change
the dash.
But it would work on this because each of these dashes is one dash.
Right. This is
this is
a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This little dash here is a row.
Yeah.
Cool.
You could totally extend this.
Oh my gosh, how cute would that be? Like a baby blanket?
Oh yeah.
So cute.
Or like a lap blanket, because it's like this neck. I love a airy yet heavy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is. I'll just partially wrap it around me now.
Hand wash, lay flat. Just.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Would do that. Which you still could do.
You could still do it. I mean, it is possible.
So this is going to be a long CAL. The way the pattern's written, it's a double length.
This one is 2 balls.
Yes, this one's 2. So we actually got a sample in this yarn, made with this yarn, and I didn't like the sample as much. It was a stockinette scarf, which is also in the ebook, which is easy if you're a new knitter, but there was no edging. So stockinette, when you just knit it flat, it curls, right? And
there's nothing you can do about it.
No, that's just the nature of the fabric. It's more. There's more tension there's more surface area on one side than there is on the other side. Mm-hmm. So the plane curls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I would rewrite that pattern to have some garter on the edge.
Yeah. But even then, it's going to be a tube flat garter thing sticking out.
Yes,
it could be. Yeah.
But.
So anyway,
you'll fight it a little bit more with an edging.
Kathleen's is the garter version, which of course looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then also, what works is crochet. So I just ripped out the whole sample that we got.
I love that idea. I don't think we've ever done that before.
No, we've never done that.
It was genius for this one. It really was. Because none of us liked the sample.
Right. And
actually, if you want to see a sample of the garter folding under, here's my swatch for the. Yeah, it's like.
It just goes. Bloop, bloop.
Just so the edges flip it.
And again, there's no, if you are a beginner knitter and that is happening to you, that is the nature of the stitch. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your knitting.
Right.
That is 100% going to happen regardless. You cannot fight it. Because even if you block it flat, the moment any kind of tension is put on it,
or if it gets damp.
Gravity.
Or anything. Gravity.
Gravity is tension on it. It will start to roll and it'll turn into a tube. Now that's to your advantage when you're making a stockinette sweater because it already...
You want it to be a tube.
It conforms to the body.
Yes.
But it's, if you want a stockinette scarf, knit it in the round.
Yeah.
Make a tube that you flatten.
Or
which
if
is
you
also really nice and cozy. I mean,
if you want the look of a stockinette sweater, knit it in one by stockinette scarf. Mm-hmm. Knit flat, 1 by 1 rib.
Rib.
Because then those ribs squish in and it looks like stockinette on both sides.
Stockinette. Yep. But it's not going to roll.
It won't roll.
But also crochet doesn't roll.
Crochet does not roll.
Yes.
And honestly, how cute would that be just as a scarf?
No, it totally would be. It would be great. You could just
you could do that as a scarf too.
Yeah. Well, we sold yarn to somebody the other day exactly for that.
But you'd need 2 to do that. And you could also, if you just wanted to do this as one, you could do this as a 1 skein. Because the end of the skein is here.
A little bit sooner.
Yeah. You could totally do a 1 skein CAL with this. Yeah. But I'm just doing it the pattern. I'm doing 2.
That's the V-stitch, right? Is that a V-stitch?
Yeah, it's a V-stitch.
So this
and
has...
it's just 3 V-stitches stacked up.
230 yards per ball, which is a good amount. So you would definitely be able to do a hat. I mean, how cute would a little set be? Either a crochet hat and a crochet cowl.
You can tell how light an area it is because this is 100 grams. It has the meterage.
Look how big it is.
It has the meterage of a worsted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, but you knit it on a 15
because it's got air.
Yes,
there's
a lot of air.
It's so soft. I love this yarn.
It's really nice. So I've got this much left, which is probably 60% of a ball.
Yeah.
So this is my. It's midnight. I want to do a little crafting to wind down before bed, and I'm just going to throw a few rows on here. But it's super fun. So I'll have this finished.
That'll make a nice double wrap CAL.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's super cute.
I love the kind of easy projects where the yarn does the work because it's also you don't get bored because you're like, what's the next color coming?
I was knitting this during watching some of the tennis, and that's what it was. It was I kept not wanting to pretend. I was like, oh, I'm almost up to the pink. Oh, I'm almost up to the rust.
I'm like, I'm coming up on orange. Yes.
I love the different colors of blue, how they show up.
I
think it's cool how sometimes they stack, so they make different size dots throughout. right?
And
sometimes
and
they hit
get
the
offset.
edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love the sweater. Do we know what pattern the sweater is? It in the book?
It's also in the ebook. Yeah.
All right, I might take a look at that and see, because not that I need more projects in my queue, but that might be a good sample to have in the store.
Oh.
Too, also. And I'm like, I do like that.
It's awesome. I love this stuff so much. So anyway, I've been working on that.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want to see my other?
I do.
My other, this has been my, so I started this, like I said, I've been going to a lot of, fall is conference season. I've been going to a lot of conferences. Mm-hmm. You can't take your Colorwork sweater or your intricate lace or cable patterns into a conference, right? You need something easy.
Mindless.
Well, not quite mindless because you gotta pay attention.
Right.
But not something where you want to be referring to your pattern every 3 stitches.
Right, yes. And also not huge because it's got to fit in my little work bag. So I watched Joji Locatelli's her podcast, and she released a new pattern, the Lone Skein Shawl.
Mm-hmm. Oh, such a good name.
It's just for those skeins that you have that are like,
your little onesies.
You picked it up at a yarn crawl or whatever, and it's pretty, but what are you going to do with it? Do you want to put it with something else or whatever? So it's just like a one skein little shawl. And it's similar to the shape of like your, which one did you say? The
very shallow V.
The Bise, the V, which is like long and skinny, so you can just like wrap it. So I picked up a skein of the Smushy Cashmere.
Ooh.
The new Dream in Color Smushy Cashmere. Right before I left, I popped it in my bag. This is, I forget.
Pretty.
Is your label
pretty there?
This is pretty.
No, but it's right there. 2 seconds. This is Enchanted. I wanted something that would show off lace enough, but also be a little speckly because, like, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I often knit with solid colors just because it shows off my stitch work more to have solid colors, but like for something like this, I want to show off the yarn.
And this has like really pretty pops of brights.
Yeah.
It is. It's fun.
So this is the Smushy Cashmere. I have this much left. It's made, she says, like, you're going to use the whole skein. So you'll see there are like some little easy lace sections in here. Some like slip stitches.
She has such a good textural eye.
And there's structure. There's short rows, so you can see like the lace is closer on this side. And then it gets wider and like it's further apart over here, so there's like a little bit of interest in that. I just got up to the next section of lace, but like this whole section, this is 24 rows of garter on like quite a few stitches at this point, so very easy, like back, forth, while you're listening to people talk on stage. So I'm going to start on the lace and get that set up. And then there's, I think, another section, like a short row section, another wedge at the end. And then it ends with some little tassels.
Aww.
And it's made to be like just a little necklace.
Just a little.
Yeah. A little, wear it with a white t-shirt and jeans. A gray dress in the middle of winter.
Yeah. Something
little
to
pop color.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's hard. There are a lot of one skein shawls, but some of them aren't designed in a wearable way. Like they end up being like a shawlette, which I find a little bit harder to wear, even though I love them. Like they're fun to knit. But like we all have those like onesie twosies, where like how many times where you're like, oh, I'm traveling, I'm going to a yarn store, like I want to. I always want to support them, and I want to get something. And sometimes I'm like, ooh, there's this beautiful skein that I have no idea what I'm going to do with.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm just going to get it.
This would be so cool in one of these rainbows.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about these in a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to hit that.
But this would be so cool.
That would be cool.
That'd be interesting.
And one of those. But anyway, so I think this will be a shop sample too. But. So you can feel it, I would say, because we have now 2 merino cashmeres, right? We have the La Bien-Aimée.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cash merino.
Feels so
and then we have this smushy cashmere. I would definitely never make socks with the LBA cash merino. I mean, I guess you could.
I might.
Pamper those feet.
Sorry.
To me, like, it's way light.
It's very thin.
It's not, well, and it's not thin, it's just not tightly plied.
Yes.
But I
knit my socks on zeros.
Yeah.
So.
I think this is MCN.
Yeah, they're both MCN, right?
Yeah, they both are.
That MCN is merino cashmere nylon.
Nylon. Yeah.
Which 5 years ago I didn't know.
Yeah. But this smushy cashmere, this is totally.
You would do a sock in that.
I would totally do a sock in this. Yeah, it's quite a bit plumper, and the ply is tighter, and it feels like it would be a delightful, luxurious, but still not destroying on my boots sock.
That's true. Like if I did socks in the La Bien-Aimée MCN, they would be like wear with Birkenstocks. Mm-hmm. Right, like
be bare
coverage,
lie on my bed to look
and admire my gorgeous socks on my luxurious yarn.
Like that cashmerino is the perfect shawl yarn. Mm-hmm. The Miss May shawl that I did is like
so
beyond.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beyond. I love it so much.
It is the kind of yarn. I mean, both of them are the kind of yarn you just want to wrap around yourself.
Oh, totally. No,
but like you could wrap around yourself on your neck, and then
I am going to wrap it.
I know.
I love it. So this has been super fun. I get to try out the cashmerino. I get to do Hohi's new pattern, and I don't fall asleep in conferences.
Yay!
There you go. Exactly.
Win.
As Haley would say when she was very little.
Let's see.
What other
things?
What other whips?
Real quick, back to crochet. I have part of my September.
I didn't bring mine because I also have part of a square.
Yeah. So I have basically the center part of a square. So this month, September's meetup for the Hooked on Grannies by Hooked on Sunshine crochet along. We did the Debbie square. Shouldn't say past tense. Are doing.
In the midst of doing.
Yeah. And the meetup was a little bit later in the month because of travel. So
that just means you have more time.
Right. Well, you have plenty of time to finish August, which August is finished. I showed that a month ago, I guess. Yeah. And ends are woven in, and you can see all my squares right up here in the store. We have like a little...
We have a little banner of squares, so you can come in and see what they look like.
Yep. So, but we got started on Debbie. Of course, a lot of our participants have already finished a square or two, and we saw them all on Wednesday night, or we saw some of them on our Wednesday night knit nights.
I think I saw Dory's on the knit night that I started when you were away, and I was like, oh my god, it's so cute!
Yes, they look so... This one is so cool because...
It's really cool.
It's a flower, right, which I finished... I think I finished most of the flower. Maybe there's a little bit more to do. I don't think so.
I just finished the part where you get the eyelets. That's
yeah. There are some surface stitches on this one. And then also, basically, there's, you're going to pick up and knit from behind, start the square from behind, and then pin these points down. So, it's three-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this flower ends up three-dimensional on top of a background, which is, applied to the back. Yeah. So it's sort of cool.
I haven't gotten
it looks really cool.
Yeah, it's really nice. So I finished the flower part of one, and I just started the first few rounds of the second one. Our next meetup, we actually are not going to be in person and on Zoom at the same time next month because of travel.
Or in October.
In October, yes. It is this month. So
it's funny. I've been saying this month for a week, meaning October, and confusing everybody. Because mentally, it's been October for me for a while.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So
what day are we doing the in person?
In person is going to be, well, I know the Zoom one is the 9th, which is Sunday the 9th is the Zoom one, and then the in person is the 16th. The next week. So yes, the travel that precludes me from doing the in-person meetup on the 9th is a Girl Scout camping trip.
Woo!
So not up in the air, but on the ground in the woods. Yeah, so we're actually coming home that morning from a Girl Scout camping trip. So we'll do the Zoom that night on the 9th, and then the next week on the 16th. I actually have something to do in the evening, but I can do the morning, so.
Hey!
Well, yeah. So
and I won't be here for that one because I will
it's also Rhinebeck
possibly
weekend.
still be at Rhinebeck, depending on how.
Yep.
I spent like 2 hours yesterday morning doing travel arrangements and things finally. And also, it's the first of your sweater class, which I'm doing.
It is the first of my sweater class.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But the nice thing about the sweater class is that it's on Zoom. So if you miss the first class, it's recorded and will be sent to you when I get my act together and put it on YouTube.
Well, I'll do it for my hotel if I'm still somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
Well, that's
That's the advantage of the Zoom classes and the Zoom knit-alongs.
That's what we're got going. So that's that.
Do you have any more whips?
Oh yes, I have 3
Oh
more
my goodness,
whips.
you have a lot.
I have 3 more. So anybody else wants to take a pause?
Yeah, why don't you?
I'll do mine because I only have a couple.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking
I told
of,
you it's been a lot. Sorry.
I know she's been.
Well,
it's
yeah,
been a while.
you missed a whole episode too. You didn't get to record for last one.
Speaking of my sweater class, I have a swatch in the La Bien-Aimée Corey worsted, which knitting it at a DK weight.
What are you thinking?
It's
beautiful.
It's looking
so
good.
nice.
Like I started out on.
I want to feel it.
Here.
It looks so.
I was like, it is an Amanda color.
See, like the fuzz, the halo.
The halo. It's definitely like a little halo-y, which I love, and I love like the depth of color on the Corey worsted.
I like
it's like
this at the DK weight.
A gray heatherish overdyed, just because of the natural color of the cordell and the wool. And I really like it at a DK weight. It's definitely, I think, it blooms when it's washed. That's blocked. So I did it on a 5 because I'm a loose knitter, and then I did it on a 6. And I think I haven't measured the gauge on a 6, but I'm pretty sure I'm on it based on where I was on the 5. I was a little tighter than the gauge required for the sweater. So I figured a 6 would be good for the body. And I like the feel of both.
Yeah, I do too.
Here you can
I remember when we were
so nice.
knitting the Soraya.
Soraya, yeah.
I was thinking like that gauge, which is usual, a shawl gauge is too loose for a sweater unless you want a meshy-ish.
Right.
Like you would have to wear undergarments if you're doing shawl weight generally.
Because you want the drape.
Right.
You
exactly.
really want
you
the
need
air,
the
the
loose
loose,
stitches.
and the flow.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Right. Like I would knit a fingering shawl on. I'm knitting.
I knit fingering shawls on
like a
four.
set.
So this is the Corey worsted from La Bien-Aimée, and I don't remember what color. High Garden.
Yes.
And
which is what our sample of the Soraya is in the store. It's
I love that color. It's very similar to Amanda's color.
Yeah.
It is actually
a little grayer. But when I did this, like Corey worsted is very much partially because of the fiber content, the cordell in it. It's very much a gauge shifter of a yarn, which it
definitely
is. So this is the Corey Confetti, which is a similar base. So it is
gray bow.
Thinner. Like if you did wraps per inch to measure it, it's about like a DK weight yarn, but it also kind of poofs up a little bit.
Yeah.
So in this case, me knitting it a little bit denser, I have a much denser fabric, which I'm totally fine with for the sweater, which I'll tell you which sweater I chose, but you can also sign up for the class and you'll find out. But I did the first part of the gauge on 5s and then on 6s, and they're both a little bit denser.
Jen's a loose knitter.
I'm a loose knitter. This would be a 6 and a 7.
Yeah.
For like a normal person.
Well, wait till I tell you what I did.
I know, right? I was like, how far down did Kathleen go? But I like this is a good reason to swatch to see if the yarn is going to work out for you, because I'm also working on my Felix sweater in the Corey Confetti.
I love this so much.
And this is
so fun.
A similar base, almost the exact same except for the speckles.
Are you going to Rhinebeck?
I don't think so, because it's around
this
Ollie's
would be
birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah,
right? It would.
Yeah.
This is knit on 9s, so it is meshier, and I don't know how much you can see.
I feel like that works with the Felix. The Felix is kind of a drapey, sweatshirty kind of sweater.
Exactly. The Felix is a drapey, sweatshirty sweater, and it also, I know from blocking this swatch, it blooms a little bit, so it's not going to feel too meshy.
It fills in a bit, yeah.
So this kind of yarn is a gauge shifter, which is a lot of times you can kind of tell from the way that it's either spun or the fiber content. If there's a lot of air in it, you can squish it down and it can be dense.
Yeah.
Or it can
dense but not too dense. Like dense but still have flexibility.
Right. But still have, because this still has drape.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
It.
Yeah.
Which is good because the sweater that I chose is Sarkle from Kate Davies, which was Kathleen's thing.
Sarkle.
That was the one where I was like,
Sarkle. I thought you kept saying circle, and I kept searching for circle and patterns.
Sarkle. Which actually means circle in Old Scots.
Yes.
Basically.
Exactly.
So there we go.
That's where it came from. Sarkle by Kate Davies.
Yeah.
There is, I believe, still room in the sweater class if you want to join.
There is a bit. Yes.
It's held on Zoom, so it's not a question of how many people fit around the table.
Yeah.
But this is a bottom-up sweater with some twisted stitch definition around the yoke. And so I feel like rather than like something super drapey like this, I feel like this kind of sweater needs a little bit more, for me, I want it to be a little bit more...
little denser, right?
Structure, a little bit more dense, a little snugglier. You know what I mean?
I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And I swatched with one yarn for it as well. And I really do love the yarn. This is one of the new ones that we got. It is LRA Eco Tweed. I'm just
it
looking
is
for the label.
so...
It's so soft.
Right?
Feel how soft this... It's like... I want to make anything out of it.
I picked it up and I was like, oh my goodness.
It's like
really
a baby
soft.
lucky tweed.
Yes, exactly.
It feels like there's almost cotton in there.
Right?
Like
it's got that
really
dry.
You know, it's 75-25. And actually the nups must be something, but it's basically 3/4 wool, 1/4 poly or nylon. So it's kind of like Olive Grande. It's like that kind of mix.
It's really nice.
It is so soft. It feels so nice. But it's funny. I almost feel like it's too soft for this sweater for me. So this is gauge on a 4. It's a 7 is recommended. You think you're loose?
I thought about starting on a 4. I will say I thought about it. Then I was like, you know what? With the Corey, I don't think I'm going to need a 4.
No.
A normal decay, I would probably swatch on a 4.
So, and I have a new twist on your little eyelet thing, because one thing I find, like I do, always a wider swatch than is, as Jen always says, you got to do, and you recommend I think twice the count sometimes, right? Is it?
That's what I did.
Yeah. So say the count is 4 inches over 22 stitches. I think I did like 36 stitches, including 4 stitches of garter. So it's it's well wider than the 4 inches. Oh, that was another thing, actually, that people were having trouble with on the Stephen West MKAL, which will have started by the time this is out, but if you're watching and you did swatch, he tells you to cast on 30 stitches. You don't want 4 inches. The 30 stitches is not meant to be 4 inches. So much confusion.
Oh.
Whenever you swatch, and I feel like I have to always say, they give the measurement over 4 inches, so you can basically get a decent amount of, you get an average.
Right.
That
you don't
doesn't
want it
mean
to be
your
edge
swatch
to edge.
is 4 inches. That
No.
means your swatch is bigger, because
in
order to get an accurate representation of what your fabric will actually be, you want to avoid the edges. The edges will distort what your stitches are, and especially if you're knitting in the round or knitting a large piece, the most accurate version of what your gauge is this little area right here in the center, where
That's
you're not
touching.
You're not dealing with the top. You're not dealing with the bottom. You're not dealing with the edge. You're not dealing with the other edge. You're dealing with the center. So that's why you need to cast on a larger amount of stitches. And I feel like people are like, well, I cast on 22 stitches and it's not 4 inches. It's not gonna be. I can make any 22 stitches fit 4 inches. I could make 22 stitches of this fit into 4 inches. It'll look crappy.
Yeah.
But like, I can make it happen.
So
wood.
So I have no problem casting on more stitches so that I have a nice area in the middle to measure from. What I do have a problem with is, like, once I have a feeling of whether I'm close to my target or not, because I'm so far off needle wise, I get bored easily with that. If I do my eyelets across, then I wind up having this like 2-inch long piece, which is not long enough. It needs to be longer. So I started doing my eyelets going up the side, which gave me more impetus to keep going. So, well, and just also, like, to keep going, because it's like, all right, I need to get all my 4 dots in there.
Yeah, you're like, I need to go long enough.
and then once I did that, I did keep going a little longer. All right, it's still not even 3 inches. I'm going to go a little more. Yeah, but I love the yarn. I will use it for something. I'll make a store sample out of this because it's a new yarn. We don't have a store sample yet. I don't think I love it for this sweater. I think it's too soft for me. I think it needs a little bit more structure.
Yeah.
For me. Well, and it's one of those, this is personal, it's personal preference, right? Yeah. Well, the other thing is, I did have something in mind that I was going to use, and then we got more colors of this, and I was like, oh yeah, Eco Tweed, that would be perfect.
I love the Eco Tweed. I was actually looking at that for mine, too. Well,
here's what I'm going back to, though.
Oh, I love that.
I'm going to do the Scout.
Eco Tweed is, it's like
it's
sport to DK.
It's DK, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
I know,
This would be...
And the colors are beautiful.
This would be good for my favorite holiday gift. Yeah, the Helen Stewart How Quiet Knits.
Yes, that would be really nice.
It would be really nice for the Helen Stewart How Quiet Knits.
It's very much like, baby Lucky Tweed, or almost, it's kind of similar to Cory Confetti. It's got those little multicolored pops.
It feels to me almost like the old Rowan cashmere tweed.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
yes, that's exactly.
But in a larger ball than the cashmere tweed. Cashmere tweed was
25 grams.
Rowan likes a small. It's a British thing.
And plus, cashmere tweed was a luxury fiber.
Totally,
right?
totally.
But this feels like the cashmere tweed without
it's
the
so
cashmere.
Soft. Yeah.
Right.
So
you're gonna do?
I think I'm gonna go back to my Scout, which I really was kind of committed to, and then I thought about this, and I was like, huh. But I think I'm gonna go back to this. Which talking about having knit big swatches, I made a guitar poncho out of this.
Yeah.
So I know.
You know where you're gonna start.
I know what it. I know how it works up. I know what the fabric's gonna be like at the end.
Yeah.
And my only
It'll have
question,
good stitch definition too for the twisted.
Yeah. My only question now is whether I am going to do some sparkle in the yoke, which was your
suggestion.
suggestion.
Oh, that would be fun.
Which I don't know. I think this color is more like an everyday color. For me.
No, I mean Amanda wears the sparkle. Amanda's like sparkle every day.
No, I only sparkle on certain days.
You're only a sparkle certain days.
I have been to a yarn shop before and asked if they had anything, and they were like, "Oh, we don't do sparkle here." I'm like,
"What? Well,
really?
What is wrong?
I do sparkle.
We do sparkle here.
We do sparkle."
So this one is Autumn Heather, and I've got all of the remaining Autumn Heather, but we have a bunch of colors of Scout that we still have.
Yeah, Scout has a beautiful
and I'm sure we'll get
heathery tweed where it's got multiple colors. It's just lovely. It's one of my favorite yarns.
It's so nice. I haven't used it in a while, so I'm excited about it.
That'll be good.
So as of this moment, that's what I'm committing to. We'll see if I stay.
Yes.
You will learn in the next episode whether I change my mind again.
I also want to say thank you everyone for all of your suggestions.
Yes.
Super helpful and super, sorry I didn't pick any of them. But
Trust me, she didn't pick any of her own suggestions.
I didn't pick any of my own suggestions.
We were laughing
you
about
kind of did.
On knit night,
like,
they were like...
Oh, the ones you mentioned.
I had ruled it out, and then I had like brought it back, and then I was like ruled it out again.
It was all my vibes rooting in the background, sending her Sarkle energy.
Back.
It's a nice sweater.
It was so funny.
It's a nice sweater, and there's not
Were
that many versions of it.
They're like, totally. Can't make it sound. I shared my screen on Knit Night and be like, here's the 85 tabs I have open. Let's go through them.
Oh my god.
And they were like, not that one. And I was like, I agree, not that one. Let's move that one over. What about this one?
Wow.
So funny. Oh my gosh.
And I didn't pick any of them. But that's okay. And then I also have... This is getting close. I did a bunch at Sakura yesterday.
Felix
by Amy Christoffers in the La Bien-Aimée Cory Confetti 2. I think it was. Graybow 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much done exactly the way I did the last one in Lucky Tweed.
Yeah, which means you'll wear it all the time again.
I'll wear it all the time. Mm-hmm. So I just gotta get the sleeves done. I gotta not stop doing the sleeves. But Max has a Ultimate Frisbee tournament this afternoon.
You'll have a sleeve done today.
I better have a sleeve done today because I'm gonna be there in the rain for like 4 hours.
Perfect. Times. You'll have a sleeve done.
Good times. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be on to the next Cory Worsted sweater, Sarkle.
Yay.
That's out.
All right.
All right, that's my whips.
Should I do a couple and then we'll wrap up with you? Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. All right.
We'll go around and back again.
So talking about the Stephen West MKAL, I did swatch. As you can see, wide but shallow.
Tiniest swatch.
But you're swatching for color.
You're swatching for color.
I'm swatching for color, and I have used this yarn 100 times.
Yeah,
I know what my gauge is with this.
Right. That is not a big enough. That is not a tall enough swatch to accurately measure for gauge. Just FYI, if you're swatching for gauge, you need to go at least double that because
is this Tosh?
Your top and your bottom will distort the interior.
Yeah, exactly.
For any of you who remember the many shawls Kathleen made, what's the
all?
Yeah, exactly.
All of
the outstanding.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
How many did you make? 4 outstanding.
3. I mean,
3 outstanding.
Well, yeah, three in the little sample. 3 in a mini.
3 in a mini.
Yeah.
And then you made another shawl out of Tosh
have a swatch.
Yeah, I've made so many things out of Tosh sock. So
she's got a big
I've got
swatch.
many swatches.
Many swatches.
So I mainly was swatching for color, and I am pleased with my colors.
I am too.
I love those
actually
colors. That's
didn't
gonna really
know how I would like those colors together when you did it originally, but I love this. They look so good.
Well, you know what?
Really
If
You're
we
so good
had
at color.
Thank you. I enjoy it. I really do.
Here, let me show it up.
If we had more kitten, I would have actually done the paper and the kitten as my main and my contrast, and then the citrus as a pop. But Tosh is not dyeing kitten anymore, so sad. I guess they can't get the dye.
Yeah, there's a supply
chain thing. But I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a very Yarnia kind of shawl with the orange and the cream, and then kitten, love it, and that neutral pop. So
there's good contrast between the orange and the kitten.
Yeah. I thought there would be. So anyway, I think it's going to work. I am so excited. So Thursday is the day. So
very excited.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The other thing,
you're already in your Black Pearl Magic bag.
Yes, I am. Exactly. I can see what my what project's in there. So the thing I really have been spending the most time on.
Corey Worsted.
Speaking of Corey Worsted and Rhinebeck, which I now am committed to going to. I got my ticket for Cakepalooza.
Nice.
For the 12 to 2 spot. So if you're there too and you see me, please come up and say hi.
Video.
I will.
Yes,
I will.
Wait.
And I will see my dear Shayla of Black Pearl Magic there. She is one of the vendors. I haven't seen her in so long.
She's so lovely.
And then I'm planning to go to Woolen Folk. Have not gotten tickets yet. We're trying to figure out a way for Haley to get there also. Jean is actually going to go with me. We're going to go up. We're going to go up Friday morning. Seisha's also gone, but she had arranged coverage for her, so we have people here all day Friday. And then
I'll be here.
You'll be here
at Yarnia on Saturday.
Right?
So if you have a Rhinebeck sweater but are not going to Rhinebeck, like me, I'll be wearing my Magnolia Bloom.
There you go.
Nice.
Come to Yarnia. We'll take a picture together. And then we'll put that at the end of the next podcast, along with all of Kathleen's awesome footage, which I can't wait to see. I'm going to live vicariously through your footage, so please.
So I am making the 1908 by Thea Colman.
Oh,
thank you.
Gorgeous.
I love it. I have been knitting so much on this. And I took Seisha's tip and I just steamed it. I didn't want to block halfway through, but I did want to be sure that it was going to fit. I mean, I swatched and I thought it would fit.
So beautiful.
I think I'm making the 52. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
I love this yarn in this pattern.
Yeah,
this yarn in this pattern is.
So
no, am I? Yeah, I am. But here.
A little bit.
But you just have to see these cables. You got to see the cables.
The yarn combo with the
Look
pattern, I think, is really and it's funny because
perfect. The ribbing and it goes.
This was not one she did for this yarn. I started doing the epernay, which she did design for Corey Worsted.
Oh my goodness!
But they're the same gauge, so it's like I figured it would be.
Those
it would be
cables
fine.
are amazing.
And did you see my progress keeper?
Yes.
Oh.
Amanda gave me. It's an animal pressing one. Amanda gave me some time ago.
So cute.
That I love because I was marking.
I had some animals. I had some of my own, and then I think my children played with them.
They probably
They're like, this is my toy now.
I'll find them when I clean up rooms at some point.
So basically, I've got 12 more days to finish this sweater, and I'm not sure I will. I'm really hoping to.
You can vest it.
I know.
Oh, that's true. I have done.
You know what? I even have a pink denim jacket, but I can't, as Kathleen from Yarnia, be wearing a pink denim jacket to Rhinebeck.
Yes, you can.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll be.
You can
incognito.
represent Amanda.
I'll be incognito.
You'll be representing Amanda from afar.
So one thing, and Jen, you and I talked about this. I don't know if it was intermediate or some other time the other day. a lot of sweater patterns, when you're doing bottom up, they tell you to do the front first. And I don't think that's a good idea. And the reason I don't think that's a good idea, and I was actually so proud that I had a thought and Jen was like, yes, you're right. Well, no, it was, well, you're usually the one who comes up with these things. And I'm like, oh, good idea. So I'm working on the sweater and it's like, knit 6 inches from your armhole divide and then begin to decrease, for your neck and everything. And I'm like, I don't want to do that because if I'm not happy with it, then I've got to rip all of that out. I've already broken my yarn and everything.
All of your shaping.
Exactly. So what I did was I went to the instructions for the back and I did the back first.
Smart.
Thank you.
So smart.
She doesn't give those out a lot.
I don't know.
Anyway, I was proud of myself for thinking of that.
It's very smart.
Thank you. So I did the back, and I did actually 1 inch more than it said because it's funny. You
knew.
Well, it seemed short to me. Like the dimensions seemed short, and it may still may grow a tiny bit more. I'm not going to be upset if it does.
Those are cables. They're not going to grow a ton.
Yeah, it definitely loosened a lot in blocking. Like I mean. I was actually, one of the reasons I did steam block it was I was getting nervous. I'm like, I had gone up to the armholes and I tried it on after the ribbing and it was fine. And then I got up to here and I'm like, oh boy, if this thing doesn't grow, I'm starting over because it was definitely,
oh God,
you don't want a fitted tight cable sweater,
No, it's not gonna.
It should.
Amanda might.
I would like a fitted tight cable sweater.
But it probably not even in this pattern though. You would do something where the cables kind of, follow your body. Anyway, this is meant to be just a fall down over the hips, kind of more straight. So, so I did the back. I added 1 inch. I did my neck shaping last night, and then I had Jean help me. I just ran a needle through like both shoulders and then held it in the back up to my neck, and I'm like, all right, yes, this is a good amount. So now I know what my back is, and I'm going to do the front based on that.
Perfect.
But I think that really. Like, why would you want to do if I had done the front first to measurement, I think it would have been much harder to know that it needed to go further. I feel like it's so much easier to know that how far you want to go with the back.
Well, and also I feel like you always end up with more shaping in the front when you're doing this kind of, where it's like you work in the round and then you split and you work the front separate and then the back separate and then you do the sleeves. Like, the back is just so much more straightforward.
Exactly. And that's the other thing. I'd kind of rather get that out of the way. Like, get your... Like, I'm not that there's that much going on, but like know what you're doing and then go on to the more complicated part.
Yeah. Well, when I did my best,
the
instructions had to do the back first, which I did.
See, very smart. That's Sylvia Westchair.
And then the front went so fast.
Yeah,
exactly. Because it's less stuff. There was
that too. That's another thing that's nice. So
you're just like, and you break your yarn and you work your way up the one side and you're like, oh my God, I'm almost done.
I'm done.
So originally I was hoping to finish the front last night.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm doing it based on honeycombs. I have 10 honeycombs from my sleeve divide to where I, broke off of the back of the neck.
Perfect.
No, I have 13, so I want 10 on the front.
Yep.
And I got 2, with what I finished last night, or yesterday, plus what I did on the front, I've got almost 3. So
that's not bad. You
but then I still have to do the sleeves. I have to. So
are the sleeves fully cabled as well?
Yes. Yes, a lot of cables. But I know this pattern inside and out now. Like, I really am not referring to the pattern at all anymore, or the chart at all anymore.
But the sleeves also decrease as you go.
The sleeve decreases you. What I'm thinking is I'm going to finish the front as soon as I can. It is drop shoulder, so they're not full length sleeves. Right. You've got some of your sleeve length already from here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to finish the front. I'm going to seam it. I'm going to try it on again.
Okay.
If I'm happy with it, fingers crossed. I'm going to pick up for both sleeves, and then I'm going to knit one as fast as I can, and then knit the other.
Would you consider doing 2 at a time magic loop?
Not with the cables, I think. I think it would be, I don't know. And also, it's just a lot of fabric. I tend
it's a lot. It's more of a
bundle it up. Well, I may kind of do them tandem. I may get one to like the elbow, or get one to the elbow and then get the other one to the elbow and then finish one and finish the other. That actually may help me get it done.
Right.
Because sometimes if you get one done and then you've got the entire other one to do, it's just too...
It's too much.
So I'm so happy with this. And actually, not only... I would wear this to Will and Folk because Amy's going to be there. So,
yes.
So that's a day less. We'll see. If I have a lot of knitting time, I just really need to not do anything else.
That needs to be what you focus on. Yeah. And I think
it mostly has been, but except I was swatching for Sarkle, so.
Well, and you're swatching for Sarkle.
The MKAL starts.
Oh my goodness!
But here's the thing. Rhinebeck is a hard and firm.
And Rhinebeck is once a year.
Rhinebeck is once a year.
I mean, one day.
You
or Rhinebeck
could
weekend,
do
whatever.
especially if you do the sleeves tandem. I do think that you would be able to do, if you arrange it, you would be able to do the sleeves 2 at a time if you arrange it. Right,
I know.
I
mean, frankly, I think you could do a drop shoulder to the elbow.
Yes.
Where it's Rhinebeck.
And then
finish it later.
Well, I think last year at Rhinebeck, one of Amy's sleeves wasn't finished. Actually, if I remember, I think she posted about it. I didn't notice it when I said hi.
Yeah. But when I did the Comfort Fade cardi, I didn't have time to do the last color of the fade on the shawl collar. Yes. I just ran yarn through it like a lifeline through my last stitches and spread it out.
It looked fine.
It was fine. Oh, I had loose ends, tied them up, stuffed them in my sleeves, whatever, wore it all day, came back, took the lifeline out, and continued.
Finished it.
Yeah, no problem. That's the Rhinebeck way.
It is. Yeah, so I think tandem is good for many reasons, and I may just, make them like elbow length sleeves temporarily.
Because at the very least, you're like, okay, I got elbow length. And then you want over here.
And then I'll look like this again. The 3rd grade look.
That's all right.
We're bringing the style back.
Right. Exactly.
All the way from 3rd grade.
It's a layered look.
So we'll see, and I am really looking forward to starting the MKAL. So I'm gonna, I'll do Clue 1. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. MKALs tend to start a little slow because you're just
it's a smaller amount of. That was one of the things I remember watching last year's and thinking, I could do that. I could do that.
At the end,
we'll see. At the end,
got
it's
like
a lot.
a million bajillion stitches this week. Mm-hmm. Good luck.
By the way, MKALs, if you did not see Amanda's little special episode,
I can't wait to watch. I'm watching it later today.
It's fun.
While I work on.
It'll be inspiration for Kathleen.
It'll be inspiration.
But there was one shawl on there that was like, oh my goodness, all the stitches at the end.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I think I know when that is. Yeah.
We both know which one that is.
Because I complained about it nonstop.
Well, didn't you have a spreadsheet with how many stitches it was?
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, never count them. Never.
I know, it makes it worse. It does.
When you're like, oh, I only have 1.5 million stitches left to go. And I'd be like, I'm
not doing this.
No, I think the last week was like 10,000 something.
Yes.
I was like,
wow. I don't mind knowing after the fact, but I wouldn't want to know before I do it.
Yeah. All right, so wait, I want to hear...
Okay, can I ask 2 more questions? Or let's...
She still got whipped.
Did we say our winner? We didn't. We talked about the sweaters, but we
talked about the sweaters, but we didn't say our winner.
So let's do that, and then we'll
thank you guys for
introduce
the contributions and the suggestions. They were super helpful, even though we did not pick any of them.
Yeah. And actually, I can give you. I did a little list.
You might see one.
Yeah.
You might see one for next year.
You will absolutely
all sweater class.
Or for the winter. I mean,
there's also a winter sweater.
So. Yeah. So our winner this time was Ellen Zadi.
Yay, Ellen!
And she said her favorite was favorite flannel, and her second favorite is smoke.
I like both of those as well.
Yeah.
So Ellen, you win. It was a ball of dash, right?
Yes.
So let us know which color of dash. And Ellen does come into the store sometimes, so she'll probably pick it up here.
Perfect.
So you can check them out in person if you like, or check them on the website. Yay, congrats.
Do we have a question for this week?
So what we were thinking of, our question for this week is, are you going to Rhinebeck?
Yes.
And if you're not, are you doing something to celebrate Rhinebeck where you are?
Yeah. It's like the beginning of fall of the knitting season.
I know.
It's like the first day, for me, Labor Day, great holiday, beginning of football season. Right, that weekend. College football starts.
Kind of. I always think of it as the unofficial end of summer, but still, usually September's warm. Right. The whole month of September.
But it doesn't matter because and similarly, Rhinebeck, it's like knitting season's open.
Yeah, open knitting season for sure.
It is. So sadly, I do not think I'm going to be able to make it. It always falls right around Ollie's birthday, and I have to. There's birthday party stuff I have to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I've got too much going on this year. I was telling Jen I just hit platinum status on airline.
In October. Early.
Actually,
October.
in September.
In September. Oh, jeez. That's impressive.
It's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love the platinum perks.
I just have too much going on this year, but I already have plans for next year. I actually might get a Airbnb like in October or November for next year's Rhinebeck because I know I'm going to go.
Yeah. We should do it together. We should
that would be super
We could
fun.
have a knit night.
Yes.
That would be so fun. I
definitely want to go. It's been since 2018 that I went.
Wow.
Last time because Charlie was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing that comfort fade, Carly.
I used to always want to go, and it was the weekend that we used to go to North Carolina to see my father-in-law for his birthday. So for years, I don't know, sometimes we'd have to move his birthday celebration and I'd get to go, but for years I always wanted to go to Rhinebeck and couldn't go.
Oh, so. I do want to pre-order a bag.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that,
are those
too.
open yet?
Yeah, it should be.
I want to see what the design is. I'm picky.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend if you are going to Rhinebeck to do pre-orders of the bags and the merch.
And just pick up. Don't wait in the line.
Don't wait in that line. That line will suck your day dry.
I did.
But you do sometimes see people, and it kind of is fun opportunity to say hi to people.
If you're there later in the day, then the line... When I went, the line was like maybe 20 minutes long. It was within the tent.
Oh, wow. Yeah, usually.
It was in the tent. So I just sort of watched it as I passed by. And once it was like, boom.
It's a very central spot, so you pass by now and then.
If you pre-order, pick it up anytime.
Right.
Yeah.
If you...
Well, and I think the pickup is a different spot now, too. It's not even at the same tent.
It's not even at the same
So you're just not involved.
But, if you... I mean, the thing is, they sell out of stuff.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
do. No,
exactly.
I got some things some things they had sold out of, but I do have the bags, the canvas bags are really nice,
canvas bags,
big, and have great pockets.
Well designed.
Yeah, I might treat myself to one of those this year.
So
the design actually reminds me of where your Hooked on Grannies square for this month is. It's kind of like a flower star kind of thing, from what I remember seeing online.
I need a good bag for my Hooked on Grannies anyway.
There you go.
Here we
that could be perfect.
Because mine is actually in the Yarnia bag that I brought all my yarn home in. That's what my Hooked on Grannies bag is right now.
Sometimes that's the project bag you get.
So, we are not planning to an official meetup or anything this year, but if you see us there, please say hi. I'll be,
because I will put a montage at the end of next episode.
with Jean and hopefully Haley.
Episode or episode after next, whichever one is.
It'll probably be episode after, And so we're trying to figure out how to get Haley there. So I'm going to Cakapalooza. Jean, if she can't get a ride, Jean is going to drive her, and Anna has a place to stay, so that's good. Anna has reservations 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah, so
Anna's got a busier session than me. Anna the dog. Do you have more whips?
I do.
Yes, you
3
do have
more whips.
All right,
wow, let's see those whips.
And then we're going to talk about new in store, which you have a little preview here.
I'll talk quickly about 2 whips that I have that are both small round circles.
All right.
Red. They're
red. Small red round circles.
Yes.
I think you would have learned about the red though. No, I'm kidding.
I know. Well,
color catcher.
We talked about that today.
Get the Shout color catchers, man.
That's literally what I'm doing today, and I will show you the results. You will have already seen the results. Okay, but Ooh. I have 2 round.
2 round red.
Circles.
Oh, funny.
Circles.
I
love both tin-can knits.
Nice.
Oh, is one of them the snowball?
No.
I put that in my faves today.
I like this one.
Or yesterday, probably.
This one is Beth's second hat, which thank you to everybody who gave hat suggestions. I started the apple pie hat.
Yeah.
Because Beth's a big baker.
It's perfect for her.
That was great for her. So I started apple pie. I've got great ribbing, and then I got to all the cables, and I was like, and then I got to all the travel. I was like, these 2 don't go together.
Yeah.
So
a little too fussy for plain knitting.
So I think I'm actually going to send her the Laxo worsted.
Laxo.
That I finished already. I think I'm going to send that to her. I was trying to get both of them done, but I think I'm going to go ahead and send that one to her, and then I'll send her this apple pie when I finish it.
I think that's great. Everybody likes getting mail.
Yeah, it's
right?
fun. Yeah.
2 special packages, not just 1.
And I have my Wool Walk New Jersey 2021 stitch marker on this one.
I liked those. The
I love
acrylic
those.
ones.
Me too.
So that's apple pie hat by Tin Can Knits. And then Eric is my 8-year-old little boy. I like having my kids have a sweater. So everybody, sometimes it's handmade by me. So sometimes it's a hand-me-down. Last year, remember I made Charlie the blue
the Cherish
sweater. which he loved. 2 years ago, I made Eric this sweater.
Yes, the Anker.
That's right, the Anker.
The Anker.
Yeah.
In Scout, which he picked out the Scout.
He likes red, doesn't he?
He loves red.
And it looks great on him with his
it
coloring.
Yeah, he's such a cutie.
Abby actually has an Ella they don't even make the yarn anymore. Chunky Merino something that I made back in 2017. I made it for Lily. Now it fits Abby, so she has a handmade sweater. The green heavily cabled alpaca sweater that I made for Charlie now fits Teddy. But Eric grew, and so he doesn't have a sweater that fits him. So he got to come to Yarnia and pick out yarn. And he picked out the Allegria Grande. He loved this carmine color in Allegria Grande. And we actually had 4 skeins on the shelf. They were from 2 different dye lots. And they were like, Allegria Grande is kettle dyed.
Yep.
By artisans in Uruguay. And the colors are pretty consistent, but not identical. And I didn't want to have like a noticeably different dye lot.
Going on.
So so we ordered another dye. We ordered another set.
Batch.
So so there's still plenty of carmine here.
It's a great red.
Yes.
It is such
It's a really good one, and he is a little bit sensitive to textures. So the Scout, he didn't like wearing it until I washed it about 4 times, and then he loved wearing it and wore it nonstop. So anyway, I cast this on last night. This is from their new, Lazy Sunday pattern collection. I'm making him the Hush sweater, which is it's a cable joke, but it's a really cool cable joke.
Yeah,
cool.
it's really
I need to look
cool.
at that
Super cool. Like, it's not something that I would normally think of doing with cables, but I really like it. I actually had about twice this much done, and then realized that the chart shows only odd number rows, even though I'm working in the round.
Oh, wow.
Usually I'm used to seeing odd numbered rows when you're working like a shawl.
When you're working flat, yeah.
You're working
and
flat,
you just knit what you see.
Yeah, exactly. But they did it, I think, to conserve space on the page.
Probably.
They just did the odd numbered rows, but I didn't read it that well.
And was everything really pulling tightly?
I was like,
this
wow.
is a lot.
This is an aggressive cable. But no, it's not.
It's an unconventional choice, definitely.
Yes, yeah. So if you do look at the Hush pattern, pay attention to the row numbers in the chart. It's not hard. It's user error entirely. And I didn't read the chart notes at the top of the page because I'm like, I know how to read charts. Anyway.
Always read your patterns. Just like always read your recipes. I can't remember, I think we were in the intermediate class, and I was like, well, you always read a recipe before you start. And then I remember who it was, Hillary, was like, I don't read a recipe before you start. I'm like, I know you don't.
Yeah. And get your ingredients out of the refrigerator and pantry to actually make sure they exist.
Exactly.
And your children haven't eaten them.
Or your husband, or anyone else.
You're like,
anyone else floating through your home.
We're out of
I have learned that lesson for exactly that reason.
Yeah.
It's like, get the stuff on the counter, and then you'll know it is in the home before you start cooking.
Or you're like, oh wait, we're out of sugar. Great, thanks.
Yeah. So I'll probably work on this. I don't know, off and on. I would like to finish this during October. So he is a size 8, and there's a size 8 to 10. This, the Hush pattern was actually written for an Aran, and the way they did Aran was worsted plus a silk mohair. Okay. I'm not doing worsted plus a silk mohair for an 8-year-old boy.
No, I wouldn't think so.
No.
And of course, Tin Can Knits, it's not like they're making it for our kids. It's everything from newborn to a men XXL, triple XL, something like that.
I love their size range.
Yeah, so it's
so great.
It's very inclusive, and if you have people that would love a worsted plus a silk mohair, Hush was a great sweater for it, but I didn't want to do that. I love the pattern. I really wanted to use that pattern. I looked for other patterns that might use a little bit lighter weight for kids, and a lot of them were plain or just have like little waffly textures. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I really like a Hush. There is another one that has, in that pattern collection, that has like a cable up the front, but it has a funnel neck, and I don't think Eric would like a funnel neck. He would like the crew neck better. And this one doesn't even start with a neck, so I can fit it on him and see how much neckline he would like.
Yeah. So you can
which
really,
I really
adjust it to him.
Exactly. So I liked this pattern. I really want to use this pattern. My yarn weight's a little light. So I was like, I've got to do math. I got to swatch. But then I was hearing the story yesterday and I was like, haha, JK. Because if you recall, I knit the dovetail hat last spring with our Bocados, one of them being Carmine.
Yes, yes.
And I was like, you know what? Same yarn, and I really like the gauge of this hat. Let me just measure what the gauge is on the gray part here, which is where it's
non-colorwork.
Yeah, not colorworked, and see what it is. So the gauge for this sweater is 17 stitches per 4 inches, and the gauge that I got on a US 7 with this hat is 19 stitches per 4 inches. So what I did was I took the body circumference of the 8 to 10, multiplied it by 19 over 17, right? And then figured out which size I should do, which was the next size up, which is the adult extra small. So if I knit the adult extra small on a US 7, and I checked that the proportions for all of them about hit that 19 to 17 ratio.
You should be good.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to end up with a size 8 to 10 by knitting the adult extra small on a US 7.
And that's good to do that math and double check, like, kind of key points of the sweater.
Well, mostly circumferences, because I don't care about arm length or body length, because I'm going to put it on him.
You knit X amount of inches, but like,
I'll still knit the right amount of inches for an 8 to 10 year old. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So, and at that point, it's all stockinette because all the interest is in the.
That's what I was going to say. So it will become a travel project.
Yes.
Once you get past
at some
detail
point.
stuff. Yeah.
At some point.
Yep.
Cool.
So
Very
that's
nice.
that.
Excellent.
Those are my circles of red.
Circle of red.
Yeah, and I do have a sweater for Charlie that I'm starting in November, after I get back from Orlando. So the second Tuesday in November, I'm gonna start it'll be a fun project.
That's right. You've got your thing coming up.
I'm gonna knit a sweater on YouTube Live.
It's
so
fun,
I'm gonna knit the flax light. I already have my yarn skeined up. It's using some of the Gauge Dye Works fingering.
Nice.
In her colorway that she dyed specifically for the flax light.
I love it.
In the 4 to 6 size. So I have to knit it for Charlie because he's a size 4, and if I want him to wear it, you can only knit the size 4 to 6 with this skein. Otherwise, the placement of the rainbow doesn't turn out right.
Because what Gauge Dye Works does is they do really small batch dyes, and like literally the color does all the work. Like they have automatic color changes, and the one that she's done for the sweaters is basically like you have a little bit of like gray, and then you have stripe, and it works out. Like she did the math. I don't know how she does it.
That's amazing.
So it's even stripes, even though you're increasing. And then the rest of the body of the sweater. So you buy the yarn by size.
Right. And unfortunately, I have not seen her do this particular dye in
She's done it in a while.
3 or 4 years. Yeah. I bought it when Eric was a size 4, and now he's 8.
Yeah.
So I obviously didn't get to it with Eric, but now I have the chance for 2 more boys to wear it, so it needs to get done.
Right.
But if you're interested in either watching me knit a sweater, chilling and having your popcorn, and please chat with me on YouTube Live, so we can have a dialogue. Otherwise, you get to hear me ramble for an hour, and it will definitely be 8 to 9, so an hour on Tuesdays. I have dance class at 9:15, so it will end on time. It'll just be like tuning into your favorite episode, and I figure like 4 or 5 weeks, something like that, for a size 4 sweater.
It'd be super fun.
Yeah. Or if you want to knit along a flax with me, either flax or flax light, the instructions are similar. We'll have some new interesting part of the sweater each week. Yeah.
And we'll have information about this in the newsletter when she's it.
Yes.
And it's and so it's not like a knit along where you subscribe and there's seats and things like that. It's like literally just tune in.
Just tune in.
Show on up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you miss it, it's on YouTube. And you can watch it over again, but you can't chat with me.
You can always leave a comment.
Yes, you can leave a comment.
Yes.
I'll maybe answer it next time.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, was one of my make nines as well.
Oh my goodness, look at you killing your make nines.
I know. So, and I worked for a insurance startup, and back in summer of 2020, we rebranded, and our marketing officer picked a great color palette. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I want a sweater in that color palette. Mm-hmm. So I pulled Alegria, also Manos del Uruguay, same as Eric's sweater, but in the fingering weight, I pulled it for a Colorwork sweater, the 5 colors that are used in our marketing palette. Now, our marketing director has moved on. I'm about to move on. So, like, I'm going to finish the sweater after I'm done with the company project.
But the palette still
is awesome.
Good.
The palette lives on.
Yes. Yeah. So, this is my Autumn Court.
So fun.
Autumn Court is by Dragon Horde Yarns, who also has, she dyes yarn.
Dragon Horde Designs.
Dragon Horde Designs, yes. Tristan, she dyes yarn, and she also makes patterns, and this is one of her patterns, I think, from 2021. But I started it. I love it because it's like super graphic.
Wow.
So this has been my plain knitting on all of my travels. I literally, like, the lone skein shawl is what I take to conferences, and this is what I do the whole plane flight. I am beautiful. 8 rows to finishing the yoke.
Wow, that's great.
What yarns are you using again?
So, Alegria, and I don't remember all the colors.
But Lush. Maybe. The top one is Lush.
Lush.
Peach Blossom?
Yes, Peach Blossom. This is...
Copper?
No, this is...
Building blocks.
Building blocks, or...
Crema?
Yes, it's Crema. I do love Crema. And then that's Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here, I'll show you.
So pretty. So
but
pretty.
I have made so much progress on this yoke, right? I think when I started on my trips in September, I was maybe 3 rows into the orange. And I finished almost all of the yoke. This pattern has a lot of color work. So it has color work on the yoke. Then there's a little bit of stock. There's like 6 inches of stockinette. Then there's more color work on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And then you do arms, and there's more color work on the sleeves. Yeah. So there's a lot of places for this palette to shine. I think I'm going to incorporate more of the Oxygen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So is the Lush is your main color?
Yeah, the Lush is the main color.
Beautiful.
That's the body color is the Lush. So it's going to be a dark green sweater.
Really fun.
I
this will look amazing on you.
So great.
Yeah, and so I'm super excited about it. I'm proud of myself for actually being diligent about this. I would be done with the yoke, except that I didn't. I was reading my chart and skipped 8 rows.
Oh no!
And started like the next part of the chart right after I did the pink here, and then it wasn't until 8 rows later I looked back and I was like, wait a minute, I never started Oxygen. What is going on?
No.
So anyway, the things you do on a plane, whatever. It's fine. I don't mind. Then I spent the next hour and a half like ripping back 8 rows. There was a knitter, so I always sit on a window seat. Yeah. And then there was somebody in the middle seat, and then the person on the aisle seat was a knitter.
Oh wow!
And she had a project. She was knitting a scarf or a wrap.
The person in the middle was probably like be really small, right? Well, especially people who don't understand that most knitters are not. They're not going to stab you.
No, you don't stab me. But
yeah.
She did look a little bit concerned when I just started like ripping 8 rows of knitting out and piling it up. Oh, I took a picture of it, so I'll put the picture of like I didn't take a picture of it like as I had all the stitches off the needles, because I just took my needles out and started ripping 8 rows out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 rows. 8 rows you're not going to take.
No, absolutely not.
No way.
So I don't mind picking up stitches. Like, so when I pick up stitches, I had to do that on Eric's sweater last night. Right, you rip them out, and then you put them on, and then I go around again in that circle, make sure they're all seated correctly, make sure like I didn't now I don't have a slip stitch, and make sure everything's like
you're all on
order.
The same row.
So you go around again, just slipping stitches one needle to the other, checking each one, and then just start your pattern again. It's way faster than
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Then tinking back.
My other tip with that is that frog one less than you need, and then like tink the last row basically.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
If you're
do
unsure.
both at once.
Yeah, that works.
Just,
that works fine for some things, not cables.
Not for everything.
No. Not for cables.
Yeah.
Cables,
True.
I just had to rip back to before I started the cables.
Yeah.
Especially because I had cabled every row.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
No, that was not salvageable.
Anyway,
right.
That's gorgeous.
That's beautiful. I love that.
That's on my webs. I'm super excited about this one. I think this is going to be, a really fun sweater when it's done. It's going to be eye catching, but look really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And a really
I
unique,
do a make knife.
very pretty.
Right? It's a
colorway.
good palette.
Yeah.
It's a really good palette.
It's
I'm
really
not
fun.
an orange person, but I am definitely a peach blossom person. But
You
I
are a
love
peach
the way
blossom.
this
It
orange
just gives that little
looks.
pop.
Yeah.
And it's,
You need that contrast.
The thing that works nicely about this palette too is that you basically got two tones, and then you've got two colors, and then multiple tones of that color of those colors.
Yeah.
So that's partly what makes it so unified.
And
but
they're
having the pop.
opposite the color wheel. I mean, like that's a tealy green and tealy greeny.
Yeah.
And that kind of like teal and orangey works really well together.
Yeah.
Yeah. The oxygen isn't super contrast with the white up here, with the cream up here.
Mm-hmm.
But once I get to the color work at the bottom, I'm going to put, it'll just be like the oxygen with the
Lush.
Really
the
nice
lush.
with the lush.
And you'll see
Yeah,
it.
and then,
Yeah,
So
and actually,
it'll
when
be featured
when you
a little
have
bit more.
things in other places, they highlight it. Your eye is drawn toward it
Yeah.
in
Totally.
the spots where it may not kind of pop as much on its own.
All right, so that's
your
all my whips.
Wow,
Okay.
that's a lot of whips.
So we should talk a little bit about new in store because that is going to be our prize for our giveaway.
Yeah.
I was in the store yesterday, and I was, I was texting, like, do you want some socks? Because these are so awesome. I saw these in the office, and I'm like, I need 2 knit socks, and these super bad. Like,
So this is the Lance de Nord watercolor sock, which makes 2 identical socks, and this is a clementine knit tube of one of these babies. Not the right color, right?
This one.
No, this one is watercolor.
This is watercolor.
That's watercolor.
That's the watercolor.
There we go.
Is the
Okay, so the
cones.
watercolor is the cone, which I love the cone put up. I think it looks so
Yeah, it's really
cute.
fun. I wish they were all cones.
So easy to knit from. So we cranked these tubes partially, Seisha cranked these
the
tubes on
Friday.
clementines, partially so you can see, like, how pretty is this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the gradient is gorgeous.
Can we take it out?
Yeah, so we can
This
take it
is definitely your colorway, Amanda.
Yeah, I
Yeah, the
know.
paint.
I'm not knitting socks for me, though.
And so that's the watercolor.
that.
Oh,
just like-
so pretty.
Look at that green.
Yeah, so fun. And it does make 2 socks, so you can see where there's
watercolor are the
watercolor.
cones.
And this one's like red to purple. This one's blues with a little greens, like all different blues. This one's like rainbowy.
Pastel
It's a
rainbow.
pastel rainbow.
Yeah. This one's like dark blues and purples. I
Oh,
like
that's
that.
moody. I love it.
And this is Kathleen.
That's Autumn.
That's
yeah,
Kathleen.
that's me.
Oranges to
Just call me
greens
Autumn.
and golds. Yeah.
And this is the one that we have
And
right
this is the-
here.
I
So
love
you can
these.
see where that's
Yeah.
where you start and stop, like that little middle bit.
And that's what I was about to say. This is like for the shawl that I'm doing
This
the
would be
hoagie,
nice.
right? Like think the lace would show up so nice in the gradient.
Yeah,
It'd almost be like knitting on, the lace would show up super nice.
Mm-hmm.
And actually when you get to this, I would cut the yarn and start at the other end.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right?
make it
And
kind
so
of
then
just,
it
A to
goes
Z,
one
Z
way.
to A.
Yes,
Yeah. Mhm.
exactly.
Yep.
I really love how this knits up.
It's nice.
This is going to make a beautiful sock too. So one of the things you do with a sock tube is you can do afterthought heels and toes, which I will be doing another afterthought heels toes workshop. I just have to look at my schedule and figure out when. It will be held on Zoom, so you get the recording afterwards so I don't talk too fast and you miss things. And then also we have coming in the future, we'll have a not live class that you can purchase to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really handy when you have these cranked tubes, and if you need to literally crank out some socks, you have all of the
So much of the work is
long
done for
work
you.
done for you.
I think threes.
And I think threes, and then
Mm-hmm. And then,
you have all of the long work done for you.
Yes.
And so
that's what I did for Beth's Christmas present last year. Is I had 2 sock pubes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you add a cuff, you add a heel, and you add a toe. Boom.
Yep. Easy and quick.
And then this one is the paint sock, the Landinord paint sock in color 40. Oh my gosh, look how pretty this is.
I know. Isn't that great? Look at that.
Yeah. And you can see that little pinky stripe in the middle.
I really like it with a little contrasting neutral there.
Yeah.
Kind of makes it.
Oh, this is
so that's why we got both, because they are different. Sock. One is much more of a kind of gradient rainbow thing, and then this has got the little pops.
I might do the green gradient or one of the rainbow stripes for Ollie. So these are both new in store. One is the cone is like the smooth gradient, and this is like the rainbowy stripes, the stripy gradients.
There we go.
You can purchase the yarn and then get it cranked into a tube with Clementine. You can also do that online by clicking Crank It For Me on the website.
This will all be up by the time this podcast goes up. I still need to take pictures now.
This is 75% Lana muesling free, so wool muesling free, and 25% nylon. And perfect for socks.
Yeah.
Perfect for beautiful for shawls too. So it's a new yarn that we're carrying. And what are we giving away? We are giving away a cranked tube or just one of the yarns.
I was going to say one of the yarns.
One of the yarns. And if you want to crank it, you let us know and we'll figure it out.
So either pick a cone or a ball, depending on whether you like the watercolor gradient or whether you like the little neutral stripes in between.
I do love this one.
Yeah,
the rainbow stripe with like a nice neutral.
So like we said, our question is, are you going to Rhinebeck?
Yes.
And if not, are you celebrating some other way?
Yeah. Do we have anything else?
I think that's good. And I do just want to apologize. I yawned a couple of times. I'm still recovering from my knee surgery, and I did not sleep last night.
And it's also, it's like one of those gray days where you're like...
Well, it's the second gray day in a row,
It's the second gray day. It's been a rainy weekend.
Well, we had Ian remnants are coming through.
Yeah.
Which, fortunately, thank goodness, we escaped. Mostly it's just been drizzly and gray, which we're super fortunate, and we hope everybody watching is doing okay. And if anyone is in Florida or that's with you, or Georgia or South Carolina, I know I saw the footage of like Polly's Island, it's crazy. It's killer. But thank you guys for watching, and we look forward to seeing whether or not you're going to Rhinebeck. Yes, we'll see if Kathleen finishes her sweater before Rhinebeck.
That's
and next time we should see a little maybe clue. We'll put some spoiler in, but you'll see Kathleen's progress on Stephen Weston.
And I need to decide what I am going to wear on Rhinebeck Day. I'll put it on Instagram when I'll do a story. Maybe what I'm wearing, so you can find me if you're there.
And then
I'm sure I will be on the hill for some of the meetups and things. I'll just be around to see people. It's funny.
I know Nitty Natty's going to have like a little casual meetup. Yeah, I watched her video last night.
I know she said that she was waiting to see what other, with Andrew Mary's sweater and everything. There's going to be a huge one. So
knitting an Andrew Mary's sweater.
She's doing the Alpenglow.
Yeah. Oh, I like the Alpenglow.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
So if I finish this, I will wear this to Wool and Folk, and then maybe I'll wear 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row.
That actually might not be a bad idea as much.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Yeah. I feel like you could, and also because it could be maybe you will wear it to Wool and Folk short sleeves, and maybe you wear it to Rhinebeck 3/4 sleeves.
We'll see, because
look at me, ambitious.
We'll see. My hotel is very close to Wool and Folk, so
exactly.
Yeah. We'll
see. Thank you guys for watching, as always. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And comment below. We love seeing your comments. You can also follow us online. Instagram is Shop Yarnia. Facebook is Shop Yarnia. And don't forget, you can sign up for our newsletter, which goes out once a week at our website, shopyarnia.com.
Just go all the way to the bottom of any page.
All the way to the bottom. And if you missed a previous newsletter, go check out on our Facebook page. There's usually a link to it. She magically links to the newsletters. Yes. It's very cool. Thank you, MailChimp. For having that automatic link. I love it. But until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye. Take care. Bye.